Hey, this is Drew Cohn.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero, Mark Valley, and Pete A. Turner.
And my friend's advice was, when you go up to Diamond Hanzu, he's like, be confident, be loud, be like, hey, man, I freaking dig you. I love your work. Thank you so much. Like, so genuine and positive and confident.
Yeah.
And it has so much more weight than, hey, how's your back?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have to get past your how's your back thing. We're just doing the bonus content thing. We'll throw it up on the More page. Yep. And just because Drew and I were having so much fun and Johnny's sitting here, we thought we'd just grab a couple more minutes. So that note is great. That whole taking time, slow down, especially if you're going to thank someone. Sly Stone doesn't need anybody's love, but he does. We all need to be appreciated. So we're like, you need to understand from me, for everybody I talk to, we're all excited that we get to talk to you. And he's a crackhead. He's all fucked up. And he's like, that's really great to hear that. And so anybody.
That's Sly?
That's Sly Stone, yeah.
He's messed up.
Totally messed up. He's been doing drugs for 50 years. You know, drugs are not going to kill that dude. Because he's in his 70s. You know?
Jeez, I didn't know that. I love his last. He was so good in his last Rocky movie. It's crazy.
Sly Stone. Not Sly Stallone.
Sly Stone, yes, he is. I was like, Sylvester Stallone.
Not Sylvester Stallone. That happens all the time.
It's all good. All right, so I have questions for you now.
Please,
all right?
Go ahead.
You were a spy.
Yep.
And this whole time we're podcasting.
Yes.
You're multitasking. I was noticing, right? You're crossing your fingers.
Yep.
You're checking, but you were fully engaged and present the whole time.
Yes.
Which then makes me curious about you. And you mentioned all the things you learned and like how you keep things so easy going. I felt so comfortable this whole time talking with you. So as you're talking with us, we're so involved in the conversations. Are you reading other things on me?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Like I mean, what type of things can you pick up? Like you're in a room, we're talking, and you can tell me the exits and like things like that.
All that stuff for sure. But I mean, I that's like sort of secondary. It's the interpersonal dynamic that's a lot more important to me.
Okay.
So I sensed, and this is just my interpretation. I get the shit wrong all the time, but I work from that position until I know I've got it right. Right. Okay. So I sensed that we weren't quite hitting our stride, and then I sort of nudged the conversation towards some conversational topics that are like a little more volatile to get some passion.
Right.
So I did that on purpose.
Okay.
I'm watching how I sat really small. Because if I sit like this, like my regular size, I'm a lot more imposing.
Yeah, you are.
So I sat really small because I'm in your house and everything else. Right. I did those things on purpose. If I felt like we weren't connecting, I'd match you, like mirror, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just little things like that. And then, and those are obvious things. There's a lot more subtle things where I might put my hand over here. Just things that I'm going to experiment with to see what works for you. It's not a code that's the same for everybody.
No.
But you're just kind of like playing tennis, sort of. I'm hitting the ball back to you and waiting.
Right. And so that's super cool too. Like you're taking care of the guests, and
absolutely,
that's your responsibility. You have to own up to every time, right? It doesn't matter. It's always your show. No matter how, there's no bad guests.
The host has 3 specific responsibilities, right? There's the responsibility to the show. I've got to say the Break It Down show. I've got to get the bumper. I've got to get a picture. All these things that I have to do as the host of the show.
Right.
I owe the audience things. I've got to slow down and say, wait a second, you didn't just climb towers. And I've got to give them I got to put it in their head because maybe they're doing the laundry, and I've got to slow it down. When you get really notable people that say the same things all the time, like I'd love to have Bono. He would say the same thing he always says. I won't let that happen. I'll say, okay, you say that in every interview, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to slow down and And then the other thing you owe is I owe you something as the guest. I owe you prep. I owe you, and if I don't prep because I'm out of time, I owe you the prep that I do live with you, right? I also owe you like your social media things. I need to make sure you shine, that you sound great. Those are the things a host owes.
That's every improv scene ever on stage.
Nice.
Don't worry about yourself. Make your partner look good.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And you serve him. And then you'll know when to lead, when to follow, and that's the same thing. What's also interesting to me, by the way, is the thing you sort of dismissed was like, oh yeah, of course I got the exits and this.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of gems have you? I mean, look, obviously you're in a very safe. You're in Hermosa Beach, California,
super safe,
and you're in my house. It's like totally safe. But what are the things that you're picking up on as you come in there have become second nature from all your spy work?
I've been here a few times.
Right.
So I'm familiar with the house and everything, and I know there's a door directly back there. I don't know what goes on back there, but I think there's an alley that goes this way. I know that because I've walked around this neighborhood, not on purpose, just on accident, but those things automatically map in my head.
You're mapping the place.
Yeah.
Exits, entrances.
And it's like Mark Valley looking at a page. You know, it just happens. I don't have to count heads anymore. I know how many heads are in there. And I don't have to be, it doesn't matter if it's 87 or 67.
Yeah.
It just matters that I'm in that area. And I may not even need to know. But like if the cops came and said how many people were in that building, I'd be like, I think there's about 87 people. And I'd be pretty close.
Wow.
Because I just know. And again, I'm not thinking about it. It's just from doing it a million times.
That was your craft, is that. Do you have a cool story where you use that or that came as you're in?
Let me think. There's all kinds of things like that don't occur to me that would be interesting probably to you guys. I'm trying to think of something. The one story I always tell is we had to go do a dangerous operation.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You talk about Bono not saying the same thing over and over. So
Okay.
you always tell a story.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Let me think. What can I tell you?
Like getting out of a situation or...
Well, I'll tell you one thing. So this isn't super sexy, but as I was leaving the Army, I was applying for jobs, and I wanted to be a consultant. And so they didn't think I was necessarily a good fit, but they're like, yeah, we'll interview you because it was like a group thing where a bunch of military people were going through interviews. And I came in, and I was like one of the last guys he did. And this goes way back. And so I come in, and I sit down. And the guy said, hey, and he had his laptop sort of oriented, like towards him, but at an angle to where like I could see it, but I didn't really look at it. And so I sit down. I have no idea this test is going to happen. And he's like, when you sat down, did you notice what was on my computer screen? And this is how far back this goes. I said, yeah, you have that Wolfenstein brick maze screensaver thing where you just constantly go through a maze of bricks. You're the first guy to get that right.
Boom, because the powers of observation that you had. Yeah.
And I didn't purposely look. It's just there's like a snapshot in my head of what was there.
Right. I would have been like, that's your wife and kids on there. Nope. Okay.
Right.
Never mind.
Yeah. And he said nobody else got it right.
That's so funny.
I interviewed with the CIA one time right after 9/11. I'm like, you know what? I've got these skills. I probably should see if it makes sense to do it. And ultimately, I decided not to because I wanted to be able to kind of raise my daughter, even though I was gone a lot, but kind of be around. I go into a hotel and I knock on door 664, and I think, and I turn around and I go look about face in the hallway to room 665. That door opens. And they're like, oh, how did you come on in? So the door they told me to go to was not, I'm sure they had that room, but they were going to open the back door to try to throw me off. And then I had the advantage the whole rest of the interview because
you got them at their own game.
I just sensed it. Yeah.
You sensed it.
I sensed it. Yeah. And I don't know how, I don't know why, but it was just one of those things where I'm like, this seems like I need to be looking the other direction.
You paid attention to you trust your intuition.
I place the appropriate amount of attention on my intuition because we get crap wrong all the time. I allow my fallibility to be present. Yeah. So that I can say, this makes sense to try this. So I listen to my intuition, but I also test all the time.
You test. I love that. I love that. Any one cool spy tip?
One cool spy tip.
And I don't mean to dismiss it, but to me, I'm so intrigued with I love reading spy novels. So I always think about what is it that one of my former CEOs was Special Forces for the Navy. Wasn't a SEAL, but he was the Hurt Locker and water with his team, and he led his team. The guy's a great leader.
Right.
And I always wondered, I'm like, what is it how do you see things that it's second nature to you?
Right.
And I know you make things as real, normal as possible to civilian life, but you have a certain set of skills. Can you read, or if we're across the room, you can see what we're saying.
No, I can't read lips. I can't hear anything anymore.
Can you move matter with your mind?
No. I can't kill goats and everything.
Can you fly?
No, but here's what I can do, though.
Okay.
I can integrate myself into a different cultural group, even if they are extremely violent. And I can reliably get myself out of that situation. It's not luck. It's design when I do it. Does that mean I go throw caution to the wind? No, because that's not design.
Right.
So I can go and have gone on my own, sort of like the Hurt Locker guy, where I'm in town and I'm going outside of the normal Army bubble of security for a specific reason, and I can come back because I know how to protect myself in those situations.
Right.
So I can sit across from the Taliban and have them legitimately say, you know, we heard about you and that you were a scholar and a respectable guy, and that's why, you know, we had you here. And it's proven to be true. You don't get to that place if your ego gets in the way. I can't be so important that I go meet the Taliban that I have to do it. It has to happen in a way that makes sense. Like Tom Hanks, right? Of course I want him on my show, but I want him to be the one that wants to be on my show so that it is easy.
There's a lot of humility with that too.
Has to be.
A lot of peace.
Yes.
A lot of giving over, giving up your own self.
Well, you think about this, and this is one of my cultural things when I do cultural training. If you can accomplish your goal through my path, well, why wouldn't you do that? Like, why would you force me to go off my path and reinvent something? Like, if I'm already going to the store and you're like, could you buy a sausage for $5? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a sausage for it. I'm already going to the store. No big deal.
Right.
Right. And you're like, dope. Sausage showed up at my house and I didn't do anything.
Right.
You know? So it's the same kind of thing where I want Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks or Tom Arnold, any of the Toms.
Any Tom.
Yeah, on my show. And I've met Tom Arnold through Jay's show, and I didn't pitch him right there. I'm here. I'll see you again, you know, and I'm like, I'll see you again sometime. And then I can say to him, remember that last time I saw you? And I'm just a little bit more normal because he gets pitched things all the time.
Right.
And it doesn't mean I get
You sound
everybody.
just very socially intelligent. And
Yeah.
is that like something that's natural?
It's developed for sure. Do I have a natural proclivity? Yeah, I've always been a social person. I'm the person in my network of friends that's like, I hit people.
Right. But I mean like you're able to integrate into any cultural society. You got to play the moments right. You got to adjust to things on the fly with the right thing, the right time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that there's people who are just so naturally good at people.
I've had the good fortune of working in really dangerous, shitty places and getting to study human nature a lot. So I can I've tested in so many different areas. So like a big thing right now is emotional intelligence. You have to have emotional intelligence, and you do. If you want to be good in those kind of things, you have to develop it. But I would say cultural intelligence is a collection of emotional intelligences from different people. So your emotional intelligence, yeah, okay, great, we have that. But if there's 25 people in a room that I'm trying to talk to, it's cultural.
Right.
It's a collection.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Last question I have for you.
Sure.
Can I come hang out with you sometime?
Anytime.
Okay.
I love interacting with people.
Okay.
It's kind of like my lab, and it's fun. It's enjoyable. We've had a good time, right?
I've had a great time.
Yeah.
I have. So
anytime.
thank you.
Yeah.
So
likewise.
much.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah. Thank you.